first things first, going live tweet because it wouldn't be a Patoot stream if I didn't do that after I'd already gone live. Oh boy, we have a lot to talk about today. I am very excited. Also, before we get to that, a little bit of housekeeping. Thank you to everybody who nominated me for the Diana Jones Award for game design. That is it's very flattering. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of the nominations, appreciate all of the support. As always, boy, do we have a serious topic today. Okay. This was originally a Twitter thread. Hi, welcome. I should possibly wait and let people trickle in. However, it's okay because you can also watch this on YouTube when it's done and I export it. 1 second. We're going to need to stay nice and hydrated for this. I have receipts. Also, we have slightly different interface because for some reason, my just chatting screen is not working today. I don't know why. I will figure it out. But I didn't want to spend too long troubleshooting that right now, so I just switched to the game dev display and switched the source. So for the chatting portion, we're going to be right here and going to switch. Hi, welcome. Thanks for the follow. And then we're going to switch over here to my receipts. So until then, let me move some stuff around so that I don't accidentally put a mouse in my face. That's a lot better. Okay. You guys might have already read the thread on Twitter, but I will be going through all of the points here, and I will be expanding a little bit as well. For example, don't let me forget that I have a small-ish rant prepared on why you are not entitled to being a protection company. You are not entitled to being a content creator. You are not entitled to this like AP producer. It's not how that works. But we will get to that because first and foremost, I realize that a lot of people do not realize how much it actually costs to produce an actual play that is paid decently. And it is work. Let's start there. It is work. It's literally a job. It's literally my job, both to produce and to perform in them. And this is time people are taking out of their days. These are large amounts of hours that people are taking out of their days, specifically, especially like freelance and people in entertainment. These are gigs we could be getting paid for. So, all of the hours of work that you hear me talk about here, please remember that in streams that are not paid or not paid up front, that is sunk cost for everyone who's putting so much as an hour in, where instead of doing this for free, they could be out making money, which is why it's very important to pay your performers. Now, I'm not saying you're not allowed to make an AP if you broke. I'm broke. I get it. I only get to pay the people that I do when I do APs in conjunction with a sponsor, which is also why I don't produce APs without a sponsor typically. Because frankly, everything that I produce is quite high on production value, and not only do I of course want to pay my performers, it is a huge risk for me financially if I create at the level that I create and the amount of work that you guys will see, the scope of work that I will outline for you guys, because that is at least 26 hours, by the way, that I've charted in this that I will be sinking into a project like the one that we discussed today, where I instead could be getting paid, could be doing something that gets me paid. And as someone who works freelance and as someone who is poor, that is not something that I can afford to do. And therefore, projects like the one we're going to talk about today, they have to wait until they get funded. And they have to wait until not only that they get funded, but that I am like financially okay, and then they get funded. So we'll talk about that. So first and foremost, Pete starts out with, again, I don't think a lot of you guys know how APs have to be structured or budgeted. And I think it's very important to start seeing them this way, even if you are someone who cannot actually afford to pay your guests, etc. It's important to be aware of how much work value you are getting from these people and that you are giving to this production, because it is work. You are creating something that is a consumable good. People are going to be consuming it. They're going to be watching it, rewatching it, etc. And when you pitch things to like sponsors, you want to have a cost breakdown like this. So we're going to get there in a second. So the example today is going to be a very small mini series, and I mean very small. Most mini series that I develop and that I sketch out are at least 5 episodes, typically more. maybe even like 6 to 8 episodes as a mean median of like what a miniseries can entail lengthwise. This is a 4 episode miniseries. This is by far the smallest miniseries I have both like ready to pitch and have ever developed. So please keep that in mind when you're looking at these numbers. So let's switch over. Hi. So basically, what we're going to be looking at, this is the budget area of my outline document. So we're calculating from the lowest possible rate while still trying to pay a semblance of a respectable rate, which is here, the example is $25 an hour for performers, $25 an hour base pay rate. That is okay. It's an okay rate. And I say that with a disclaimer. It's moderately low to okay because it is still an enormous amount of work, but that is a rate that is a rate that is respectable because the alternative of what you could be doing in the time that you are putting into this at $25 an hour, you will likely not be making the same or more if you were doing something else that you could get paid for. So that is why it is still like a base respectable rate. That is not what a lot of TTRPG companies pay. Hi, thanks for subscribing again. Thank you. When I worked for I'm allowed to say this. I have worked with TTRPG companies. I have like streamed on like Roll20, which is a giant company, right? I mean, we all know Roll20. And I did not get paid $25 an hour. I'm pretty sure I got paid something around, like the shows are typically like 3 hours. I got paid close to that, but I have also been on streams where like they've been like, oh yeah, it's $25 an episode, and then you ask like not Roll20, but you ask like a stream company like, oh, it's $25 per episode. Is it like an hour-long episode? Or are they like mini episodes? No, it's a 4-hour-long episode. It's a 4-hour-long episode for $25. That is way less than minimum wage. Way less than minimum wage is what you usually get as a performer from a lot of people. Granted, this is also because hello. This is also because people are indie people, like indie creators like myself. Like we're not necessarily inherently affiliated with a company. We do not have budgets behind us. We don't always get to crowdfund before something comes out. Often things are crowdfunded after. However, like it would be bananas to say that getting paid the equivalent of, let's see, let's bust out the calculator because this is the time for receipts. If you get paid, let's be real generous. Let's be really, really generous. If you get paid like $30, if you get paid like $30 for a 3-hour stream plus half an hour tech, usually it's more like you go overtime. So let's say like for 4 hours. As that divided by 4, that's $7.50 an hour. $7.50 an hour for this, and that is considered like, wow, nice. That is bananas. That is not a livable wage. It's not a livable wage when you work at like, I don't know, like Walmart and they pay you $7.50. Although I think they pay you way better. But like that's not a livable wage. That is not something where like, oh yeah, it's worth it financially to do this because there's nothing else that I could do that would pay me the same amount. No. So the base rate that I calculated here, the lowest amount that I would feel comfortable paying my performers for the level of production that this is $25 an hour. So that is how I came up with the base rate. You'll also note that at the top it says GM, assets, production, tech, etc. That is all in one role because that is all me. Great. That is partially to cut production costs and partially because I am a control freak. And also I'm the creative producer for the show. So these are my jobs. And I do not have I can't even begin to imagine the budget of delegating different people for all of these things and the extra timeline that would put on it if I did not just do it myself. So for this, I also budgeted the lowest to match $25 an hour because here's the thing. If I am not paying what I consider a decent rate to my performers, then I am not going to pay myself my decent rate. If your salary goes down, so does mine, period. Because you are not entitled to these people's labor and you are not entitled to creating an actual play of this level. And you are not entitled to kind of bamboozle people into thinking that like, oh, we're all struggling. I've cut all of the costs. How come you haven't cut your own? You didn't cut your own costs. You only cut other people's costs. That is called exploitation. And it is rampant and extremely common. In other shocking news, water is wet. Anyway, we will get to that on more of an elaborate point towards the end. So that is how I came up with the base rate of like the low ball budget of what this is going to be. Plus, I factored in a session 0. So I'll get to the breakdown of each thing individually. The base rate that I consider decent, that is also the base rate that I get paid from Roll. So Roll app, ROLE app, that is, I'm gonna drop in chat. Roll app. Oh, sorry. I think for some reason my chat box has been absolutely bamboozling me. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It has been acting a fucking fool. So let me redo the chat box again here real quick. We're gonna take us a quick sec. Okay. Or we could do not that anyway. That shouldn't say a 2, by the way. That's supposed to be an at. My bad. Anyway, it's in the actual chat. It is, however, not in on this stream. So it's at ROLE app. That's Roll app. When I work for Roll app creating actual plays or even a talk show, hi, welcome. When I work for the Roll app on an actual play, the base rate for admin is $50 an hour. Performers make typically make typically $75 an hour for performing, plus $50 being like sound check, etc. And then GMs, storytellers make slash like stream hosts make $100 an hour for the time that they are on stream. So that is what I consider livable pay, because it is. It's much more livable pay. So that is the ideal of what I would like to pay if I am producing this. So that puts my performers here at $50 an hour still, because this is crowdfunded and not actually from a company like Roll App or even like backed by another company. The best you could probably aim for realistically is to have everybody like performer rate at 50. So if we set the performer rate at 50 and the GM slash production company in a person rate at 100, then we get and like I factored in only 1 hour of paid admin and prep. We will break that 1 hour down in a minute because it's a lot. So let's consider that 1 hour of paid prep a gratuity in lieu of actually paying me for the 26 hours of prep that this show would actually take me. So that means that my most that I would be making for creating this entire 4-episode show is $1,000. That would be good. That would be good. That would be okay. I could live with that, even though it would still be quite a bit of sunk cost on my end, which we will go out. So that's like $700 less than I should actually be making if I were getting paid for all of the work that I were doing. However, what is most realistic for an indie produced AP that is probably crowdfunding is that for 26 hours of work, the scope of which we will go into here in a second, I would, from this at a rate of $25 an hour without billing 90% of the hours that I'd be putting in, I would make $225 for 26 hours. That's, you know what? And again, let's break that down. Let's see. $225 divided by 26. That's $8.60 an hour. $8.65. That's $8.65 an hour. For creating like a whole show, for being what in your head, you know, when you watch, I don't know, why is this the only thing? When you watch Big Bang Theory or some shit, right? And it says created by, and then there's a person. And then it says, you know, then you have the credits at the end of like tech, marketing, makeup, like storyboarding, fucking like writing. All of that in one person. $8.65 an hour. At the breakdown of being paid $25 an hour, but not getting to bill all of your hours. So that is just one person in this AP. Let's look at my cast. Now, this is an AP with a much lower budget, because, like, quote unquote, comparatively, or at least like would be. Obviously, I don't have any of this money. Which somebody got very confused. Was like, it's great you can pay your people. I was like, I fucking cannot. That's why this AP is on a Word document and not on Twitch. With the structure of this AP that I've designed, we actually have a character death every episode, which is exciting. Because you don't know who it's going to be or what's going to happen. I do, but you don't. Well, actually, to be fair, I also don't know who it would be. It would depend on me talking to my cast. But there would only be one actor one performer that is actually in all 4 episodes. Because towards the end of every episode, somebody's going to die and you don't come back next week because this is a limited story like that I am trying to tell. So one character dies first episode. That means that I only pay them for 1 episode. They are only in 1 episode. Character C dies in episode 2. So they do episode 1, full run of episode 2, die at the end of episode 2. Same with character B, goes 3 episodes. There's only 4. So goes through 3 episodes, dies at the end of episode 3. That means that in episode 4, I only have 1 person left. So that means that a character A does all 4 episodes, character B gets paid for 3, C gets paid for 2, D gets paid for 1. Usually in an actual play, you don't lose performers because you watch a campaign, they go through a thing, and like they don't always die. And if they die, then maybe they come back with a new character. That is not the point of this particular actual play that I would like to produce. That is not the story I would like to tell. Usually, you would have 4 people at 4 episodes at $200 an episode minimum, versus this staggered calculation. So let's say for episode, like for getting paid at a $25 an hour rate, and not paying for the half hour ish call time of green room time where we kind of just fuck around, and like I would be frantically making sure that everybody's camera is okay, all of the tech is working, all of the audio is working, and then getting ready to GM at the speed of fucking light. So let's assume we don't pay for the green room because you don't actually usually get paid for the green room, which sucks, but you don't. Let's say ideally though, that's 1 character at $400 total for 4 episodes, $300 total for 3 episodes, $200 for 2 episodes, and $100 for 1 episode, because you have to consider this is not per episode, this is per hour. They get paid $50 per hour ideally, and each episode is about 2 hours. Hopefully slightly less. I try to keep things with serial storytelling, especially miniseries, less because I also have ADHD and I don't want to fucking sit here for 4 hours. Cannot begin to imagine if this were a D&D one shot, because this is in the system of Chew. This is not in D&D. D&D fucking miniseries. Each episode could potentially be 6 motherfucking hours long. Hi, Dana. I cannot begin to imagine those numbers right now, partially because I have dyscalculia and partially because they are quite large. So let's assume I do 1 session 0. That is paid, because it should be. It's a lot of fucking work. Let's just say to run this 0, I would maybe get 50, or I would just not get paid. And I would pay everybody $25 to be there. That is $125 total, because I have 4 fucking people that need to be there, that I need to pay to be there for an hour, to go over everybody's character, safety tool, storyline, etc. That would place me lowballing for 26 hours of work on my end, not to mention 4 episodes worth of work and a session 0 for every for all of the characters / like less episodes if they die earlier. That would put me lowballing, extremely lowballing, at $900 needed for 4 episodes. Ideally, I can't even say ideally because I'm still shortchanging myself out of 25 hours of work. So if I do 25 hours of unpaid labor, I would only need $2,800, quote unquote, to pay for a like respectable like rate for a 4 episode miniseries in which only 1 performer and myself are actually in all 4 episodes. Let's break down my work. Sorry, there was a fly. This is also assuming, again, that I run all of the tech by myself. I cannot pre-record because pre-recording requires an editor, which is a skill that I frankly do not possess and cannot pay for in this because it's not in the budget. So if I run tech by myself, we shoot live with no editing. I handle all the coordination, payroll, I become human resources, and I do all of the marketing myself, in addition to all of the asset production, which is not the same as tech production, by the way, but we will have another TED Talk on that a different day. Potentially tomorrow. We shall see. It's been fucking bugging me. So let's assume that I do an entire production team's worth of work by myself. Again, I am also the GM and the creative director for the show, which means that I am the fucking campaign designer of the fucking show, in addition to all these other things, completely unpaid. Let's break down what I would bare bones actually honestly budget for myself. My workload alone, at a fair wage that I could live off of moderately, barely. So let's say $50 an hour admin, right? and then we do $100 an hour for active hosting and GMing. That is 8 hours of hosting, because it's 4 episodes, 2 hours an episode. 8 hours of hosting, actively being the GM. That is $800. 2 hours of tech total, which is the half-hour green room before every single episode, which is me sitting, making sure that everybody's camera is being captured, making sure that everything fits in all of the assets of which I will show you in a second. And that is like making sure all of the audio is working. Nobody has weird feedback. It is streaming correctly. That includes like troubleshooting in Twitch, which, by the way, this doesn't include any kind of Twitch moderation whatsoever. That is also something that I would be doing while hosting and jamming this fucking show. That I didn't even list in there because there's no way to separate that. Then there's let's give me 2 hours of asset creation. That's how much time I spent today on asset creation, because I had the ideas and I started doing it. So let's take a break real quick and go to asset creation. Actually, let's go there for a second. Right. So asset creation is stream overlays. This is not finished, obviously. This is just, I would like to design the content warnings. Hi, welcome. I would like to design the content warnings to look like a nutritional values thing, so I just have that there. But let's look at this real quick. This is a starting screen. Took me a few minutes to figure out what I would like, because it is like very detective noir-y. So let's say that this is the coming soon, starting soon screen. This is the title screen. It's really fucking sick. Look at this. It's fucking sick. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that great? Also, the rating up there, because Chew is a very intense system. People are going to be dying. People are going to be dying brutally. I thought this shit was creepy as hell. And it's still very legible, very readable. I liked it. Then I also decided to just put together a screen here, like a transitional screen for when you enter into the chocolate factory after character introductions. This is shit that people do not always do for APs. That's fine. But that's not how I do things. I like to make, if I'm gonna fucking produce something, I'm gonna fucking do it correctly. This is all stream production, like stream asset creation, by the way. This isn't even tech production yet. This is just asset creation. Part of Chew is that you have a case board. The case board is an asset that I would actually need to update individually every single one, because it would likely start with a blank board with one of these bitches on there and text that I still have to add, because it would basically be like still explaining like the things that you know from the case to begin with. And then as we learn things, I would have to add them between episodes so that we could refer back to them live, and then everybody in the audience could see it. So I've made this. It's moderately interactive. It took me a few minutes to make. Then I started designing what the actual like overlay is going to look like, player screen generic. I kept it non-animated because I didn't want to have to put a mega flash warning on everything. So this is some aluminum foil. This is some case files. Took me a minute to find something that I would really like, and then make it into a player frame. So these are like detectives, like FDA agents that are solving food-related crimes. It's the whole basis of things. So this is a player screen that's generic. There's often, like, as you can see, I'm still figuring out exactly how I would like to use like these name tag sort of things to designate who the GM is, the players, their names, their pronouns, the character performers' pronouns. Then I'm still messing around with where the what's it called? Subtitles, not subtitles. The CC, the closed captions would be, so that it's accessible, which also means that, by the way, all of this is not done, obviously. Like, this is me still messing around with it. Then I have to make a different one for each episode. Not only because each episode is going to have a player less, but also because each episode takes place in a different themed room in this, like, quote unquote Willy Wonka chocolate factory type place. So there's a peppermint room maybe with mint death. Let's try not to, if I do manage to get this funded and create this, let's all pretend that I'm not spoiling kind of some of the plot. Then you've got one for the next episode, less people. And then the next episode, less people. This is already episode 3. I thought that shit looked scary as fuck, doesn't it? Doesn't it look creepy as hell? This took forever. Then we have the final face-off. This is the final episode. There will be only the GM and one survivor left in this game. Then after that, I also decided what's very important to have, also potentially if you have any tech problems, you need to have a BRB screen. The BRB screen looks pretty sick. It's sick. It's cool, isn't it? Cool. I fucking love doing this shit. You can, hey, by the way, if you like this shit, read this. It says, if you like what I do, check out my pages to commission or buy streaming kits or campaign primers like this one for this game. I also write campaigns for people, so like I will happily like write out step for step how to do this shit. If you have bought the game that I designed, I Spy, it comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It comes with 9 pre-made campaign primers. That game. Same. And then, because credit where credit is due, I also, for all of my streaming kits for APs, create title cards. So at the end of the AP, you see my pretty face. I'll put the green screen up. I'll put like my caption. I'd be right here. It'd be pretty. Look at how pretty. I'm very pretty. Yes, yes, yes. Campaign design, streaming kit design, GM. I would probably keep that way. And then you have one for every other fucking character in this fucking game. It was creepy as hell. It was really cool. It's a close up of like how like almonds and stuff are like sugared in a factory. Like chocolate covered ones are like coconut and stuff. I thought that was cool. So yeah, this is basically asset creation for hello, for an AP, because it can be much more basic than this. It doesn't have to be this extensive, but this took me about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So let's go back to the overview here. That took me about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And as you can see, I'm not done. I still have graphics to design, I still have things to move around, and I still have like text to add and edit. Not to mention that between every episode, I have to edit the caseload board and re-upload that because it changes as the AP goes along, because that is a mini series. And it's still, again, reminder, only 4 episodes long. Do not want to imagine the scope of work I would have if this bitch was like 6 episodes long, which, like, you pay me enough, I'll do it. But let's continue, because we are only go away, fly. Actually, one of these bitches is a mosquito. We are only at asset creation, for which I would only pay myself for 2 hours if I was allowed to actually get paid for the 26 plus hours of work that go into creative production. 3 hours of casting. You might be like, well, it didn't take 3 hours to send a DM. Yeah, it fucking does. 3 hours of casting for an AP that somebody has put money into is a really big deal. You do not want to willy-nilly grab some random fucks off Twitter, hope they play well together, especially if you've never worked with them before. So that means that and this is something that I do. Part of my job is also doing this. 1 second, sorry. Really super cool that you're showcasing this breakdown. People really do not know the extensive work that goes into it. First of all, hi, welcome, first time chat, Carry On Comfort Studios, and thank you. Yes, it is very important to me. I will happily go on many a TED talk about this. So for casting, because I do work, like for example, right now, I am the director of Killscreen, which is an AP being produced by Roll app to celebrate and showcase their new original TTRPG. And I'm very, very excited about it. I'm also a performer in 2 of the episodes. But part of my job was casting. That means that I would like go and I would scour through my Rolodex of talent that I know, or in addition to like also like new talent that I haven't worked with before. Then I talked to my head producer at Draconics, and I got a short list of people that Drac would like to work with and see as the cast that also like he thought would work well together, because Drac is the main performer in the show, and I needed to make sure that whoever we have also works well with Drac. Plus, we had our own casting parameters as well. For example, had to have a good setup, which means that I had to spend time researching everyone on our potential cast list, looking at their previous work, and like seeing what tech do they need to get to the level we need them to be at, or are they already at that? Plus, this is also a high aesthetic stream, so there was cosplay in mind. I couldn't have anybody that doesn't have experience with cosplay for this particular production, because it was a lot of money being put into it, and they had to have a good camera, they had to have controllable lighting, and like there's some things that Roll was so kind as to like send lighting, like all of the lighting that I have, Roll bought me, because I work for them and they want me to be able to look a certain way and have a certain quality like level of production. So that is all goes into casting. In addition to that, I also have to in my head fucking chemistry test everybody against myself or against Drac, because we were still in the beginning trying to figure out what exactly is going to be the character constellation, how many people are we going to have per episode, and that it all goes into casting. That's before you even reach out to people, and then it is a mindless back and forth. We are all in different time zones, and you have got to stay on the ball of making sure that you have everybody's availability, you have everybody locked in, you're upfront and transparent. You can give everybody, okay, hi, I would like to hire you for 2 episodes at this rate. Would that be okay? Hi, I would like to hire you for 1 episode at this rate. Would that be okay? Hi, can you let me know your availability for this and this time? I might have a slot for you. And then you have to whittle it down and whittle it down and whittle it down more and more and more until you figure out 2 people, by the way, for this particular example, 2 people to hire. This, I need to hire 4 people, and they all have to play with each other instead of just with Drac or just with me. So that is a lot more chemistry testing, not to mention like a lot more like just casting work in general and like vetting that has to happen. And none of it is personal. I'd like to add that as well. Absolutely none of casting there is personal. It is legitimately just who fits into this style of role playing, who does horror well. For example, for like the show that this document is for, who does horror well? Who can handle food? Who can handle gore? Who plays well with these people? Who has a similar play style? Who can deal with this type of game system best? Who has a lot of experience maybe with this? Who is going to show up with like full cosplay versus who is going to show up in a hoodie? Like I need to know all of these things in advance without asking. That's part of casting. That's why casting directing is a job. However, I don't get to hire a casting director. I am the casting director. So if we're only paying me for 3 hours of casting, which I will probably end up doing 4 or 5, but if we're just giving me 3 hours, that's $150 to $50 an hour to do what I just explained to you. Then I need to do 1 hour session zero that is not paying me for the prep for the session zero, for making sure that we have like extensive safety tools in place, especially for something that is very horror and gore heavy like this. So let's say I don't get paid to prep the session zero, I just get paid to run it. That's an hour of me like running, coordinating. That is also session zero is the place to make sure that you have everybody's payment information confirmed, that everybody is signed on to the scope of work that they know they're going to have, and you get everybody's comfort levels and you plan out the entire campaign. That is session zero. We have to get all of that done in an hour because I did not budget for more time. So if anybody has any questions, I will have to be answering those afterwards, unpaid. Then we get to 8 hours of campaign and episode writing and prep. That is assuming that I give myself one, and there's nothing wrong with being hoodie person, but it depends on like the production. Because like if you are working with like Roll20, hi, if we're working with Roll20, they want you to look a certain way. They want you to be able to match the quality of everybody else. And it's not a elitist thing so much as like it's an aesthetic thing. It's a show. If you do like a casual like one with your friends, that is different from getting paid like for a production that has several $1,000s sunken into it. You know what I mean? Hi, welcome Techie Jam. No worries. I hope you get to go. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be Ed Sheeran next to Beyonce. You never want to be Ed Sheeran next to Beyonce. Jesus Christ, rest in peace. He's not dead, but I'm really glad that the breakdown was interesting, and I hope you can catch the VOD here later and on YouTube. But yeah, basically, if we give me 1 hour only of prep, maybe two. Let's give me 2 hours of prep. Yeah, per episode because it's only 4 episodes. So if we give me 2 hours of prep per episode to script the entire episode, then I get $400 for that. Then there's marketing, asset creation, implementation, because all of this shit is all fine and dandy. If nobody fucking knows that I'm running this shit, kind of sucks ass, not gonna lie. If nobody sees it, nobody knows that it's happening. Backers that have invested in something are not going to be happy about that. That means that you have to go back to Canva and let's just use this as the example. You know how like here I have designed like character like end credits. This is so sick, isn't it dope? I fucking love that shit. This took forever, by the way. I had to you kind of have to finagle all these assets yourself, because it's not like anybody has an asset that is a green screen in front of a magnifying glass. You have to put that shit together. And having the idea, by the way, that is not something everybody does. And therefore, you get paid for it because asset creation is a skill. But I have to make for every character that is going to be in this, so every person who's going to be in this show, they need advertising. They need to give me their headshots. Potentially, I have to ask them to retake their fucking headshots because depending on what people give me, sometimes I have to be like, hey, not that that's not a cool selfie. I need something where I can clearly see your face. Or hey, that's black and white. I need it to be in color. Hey, that's in color. Can I make it black and white? Depending on what I need it to be. Because once people have put money into this, the quality level does have to be a certain way for them to get like a return of quality on the money that they have put into the production. So that's people sending me their headshots. That's me also running after people to give me their headshots because, we're creatives. A lot of us have ADHD. We are going to forget. Part of all of this is a job that, like, for example, Utopia affectionately calls cat wrangling, which is just like running after performers and making sure that they are giving me what I need to get from them in order to do the production and marketing side of things. Then I have to like have all of these things. I have to create these marketing assets to promote, like maybe like my beloved Super Dylan is going to be in the show. I want to make a graphic for Super Dylan. Super Dylan is not yet cast in this or anything. I just really love Dylan a lot. Very, very good buddy, good person, fantastic person, frankly. And everybody should follow Super Dylan. both on Twitch and on Twitter. Anyway, let's just say like now I'm gonna post a graphic here. I'm gonna post on Twitter. I have to create the graphic that is like standardized for Twitter, for Twitch, for Instagram. I have to make these things and I have to write copy for them so that other people can start to plug the show and be like, hey, I'm X, Y, and Z. Thanks for watching show that I am on. If you want to see what I'm going to be on soon, I'm going to be on The Candyman, like mini series designed by Brandy Rose over on twitch.tv/cutiespatoon. Like, I need to tell people what to say. I need to have the assets created so that we can do like a little bit of marketing for the show, drum up interest so that people know that it's fucking happening and all of their hard work pays off because people will see it. That is, let's say, like $100. Let's just give me like $100 on 2 hours to do all of that. Total value of work that is in billable hours, just for this alone, please remember how many times I said, actually, this will take me longer, but let's only give me this many hours to bill for it, is $1,700 at a decent wage. Now, also consider Hollywood and production companies that are not remote, that are not for Twitch, which at this point, Twitch and TV, they're going to be pretty synonymous as far as like reach eventually goes when you think about the sheer numbers Twitch has. Not individually. Individually, your average stream has like 3 people on it. I'm flattered every time I get double digits. I love all of you guys. But like potential, there is a lot of potential for reach here. Oh, that's fine. Mid-word. Wow, that is so rude, Twitch. Hi, welcome. I did see all of you blip out for a second, but hi, hello. So let's say that like total value of work, $1,700. It would probably be more like, if we're being really, really honest, this is probably about $2,000 worth of work at this wage. Not that I think people that are producing other shows are making this little. People that are producing shows outside of this are going to be making more than $50 an hour, probably. But let's say total value, decent pay of work for me to create this show is $1,700. I definitely do not have $1,700. And raising that much when people don't know the scope of work that goes into this and they don't see this breakdown, it's hard. Because I would also like to remind you up here that it says that if I get paid the bare minimum of what the performers get paid and do not get paid for any of this work, then I would do all of that work to create an AP for people to watch with all of these people, and I would make maybe $225. And very often, I do have to do that much money, like that much work for that or nothing at all. And then you have to consider, in addition to this cost breakdown, hi, welcome, and thank you for gifting a sub, Sphinx. In addition to that, I would like you guys to remember that this is if you get funding. This is if either you crowdfund your idea and it works and it's fast and you get exactly the money that you need and you can put all of it directly into this, then you are very lucky. You have a backer. Most APs, like I just did an AP with Transplanter RPG, who I adore. I love them very much, and I'm very excited that I finally get to work with them on something that is going to be out on Transplanter RPG. That's twitch.tv/Transplanter RPG. It's going to come out in the summer. It is if I remember correctly, 7-episode miniseries. We kept the cast very small. It is only 3 people per episode. Connie and I are in every single episode, and we have a different guest every episode. It is a wonderful, wonderful miniseries that I'm very proud of, that I created. I creative produced, and then Connie and I became the co-creative producers for the storyline going forward after I had pitched the initial idea, and Connie loved it and decided to do it for Transplanter. I haven't gotten paid for that. None of us have gotten paid for that because there's no money for that yet, because we're waiting until it's closer, like until it's finished being edited. We have an ideal budget of what we would like to pay people. We were transparent with people up front. We were like, hi, if you can only take paying upfront or like guaranteed pay work, absolutely fine. We are going to be crowdfunding for this. We do anticipate it making so and so much money in crowdfunding, hopefully. And then this is about the rate that we would like to pay people. Like, this is how much we would like to pay the guests, which I don't remember the number right now. I think we paid everybody equally. Or we want to pay everybody equally. So ideally, If we can raise $700 or $800, maybe 900, then we can pay because we have to pay everybody. So pay the editor, who is editing it because it is pre-recorded, paying all of us on cast, and not actually paying Connie or I for any of the casting, for any of this. All of this beyond this bit is in the editor. This bit, the editor gets paid. All of this is work that you always do, work that like we did, that is not going to get paid, unless somebody decides to tip us $900 purely for that, in addition to funding the entire rest of the goal so that we can pay everybody. So we are hoping for a 7-episode show, this is only 4. 7-episode show, we are hoping to get $100. Let me break that down for you. 100 divided by 7 is $14 an hour. Or per episode, I suppose. $14 an episode. The episodes are not an hour long. They're about, we think we were aiming for an hour and a half. I think we filmed for about 2 plus. So let's say it's somewhere between $7 and $14 an hour. And that for us would be considered, especially because we are indie. We do not have a backer like Roll. We do not have a backer like Roll App or like Die Hard Dice or anybody. We don't have any financial like support in this right now whatsoever. If we can crowdfund to a point where everybody gets paid $100 for a 7-episode show where each guest was only in 1 episode, and then Connie and I were in 7, then Connie and I will be making somewhere between $7 to $14 an hour, or an episode, for an AP that hopefully a lot of people are going to get to watch and enjoy. And we do it because we love it, and that is still a success, because for an indie group to be able to crowdfund is great. However, it is not a livable wage, and a lot of us do this professionally. And we were very transparent with everybody from the get-go that this is something that we really wanted to make. We decided it was worth it to us to put in the time that it would take, because we were splitting all of the responsibilities and it was pre-recorded. So we were able to lower how much sunk cost would be in it. And we all knew exactly what we were getting into from the start. We were transparent. We knew exactly that we knew going in that there is a possibility, there is never there is a non-zero possibility that we might not make anything in crowdfunding, or that we might make only $300 crowdfunding total, maybe, or that nobody's going to tip. So it could be ideally, we really hope that we raise enough where we all get $100, because $100 is $100. It's very possible that all of us make $30. It's very possible that from the amount that we make, so that we can pay everybody equally, Connie and I walk away with $5 for a month and a half worth of getting up early and shooting, not to mention the meetings, the casting, the stuff behind the scenes. It's possible because it's indie, and that's how that goes. So when you think about the APs that you like watching, when you think about I love being on Unmade Gaming. I am on one of Unmade Gaming, and that's not a mini shows. That's a campaign. I am on one of the main shows of Unmade Gaming as Alara Kaya. We are currently on summer hiatus, and we will be returning in August with season 2. Very excited. Season 1 wrapped. I got paid, was almost $300 or somewhere around there for a season of a show, which is really good. And that's only because Unmade Gaming is wonderful and we run on donations. So people can donate during the Twitch stream to affect the plot, because we film live. So when people fill the corruption bar, that money immediately gets split up and budgeted. And at the end of the season, we all got paid out equally, which is wonderful and exactly how you do it, and fully transparent. And that is how you fucking run on a donation-based show. That is how you fucking do that shit. And it's very well liked. We're very popular. I appreciate all of our viewers very much. And that is considered very, honestly, very successful for an indie AP or ongoing show, for an AP that is a season. But it's also if you did break it down, we did, was it 8 episodes, I think? 8 episodes in the season. Each episode was 3 to 4 hours, I think. It was still quite long. It was quite late. Let's see. I don't remember if it was 8 or if it was 6. Let's say that we did 7. Let's go in the middle. Let's do 7 times, let's say, I don't know if it was 3 or 4. Let's say 3. Let's be nice. Let's say 3. That's 21 hours. Divided by 21. $14 an hour averages out, which is, I mean, in a lot of places that's like slightly below or slightly above. That's above minimum wage. Here where I live, that's like double minimum wage, so that's quite nice. But that's pretty good for an indie show. That's really good. But you have to consider these things like that. You have to break it down to an hourly rate of work that you're doing, slash like also like knowing that the work you're doing in your billable hours are not always one-to-one when you work on AP production. So when you're watching shows like at Unmade Gaming, like when you're watching Gunbrook Unhallowed, or when you're watching, like if I get to make this and pay people for it, if I get to get paid for and make this for people, if you are watching this, you should keep in mind how much work that is also probably unpaid, that will potentially stay unpaid, is going into these things that you love. And I'm not saying you shouldn't watch them. You should. That's the whole fucking point of this. You should fucking watch us. You should support us. Oops, I did not realize there was a massive potential spoiler up there for this campaign, but that's okay because it's still being written. So everybody's just gonna conveniently forget about that. Thank you. Bye. You should support us. You should absolutely support us. You should watch. You should tip. But that also means like, yeah, you should tip. If you can. Obviously, if you cannot, thank you. If you cannot, that is fine. It's not like you're not allowed to watch TV just because you don't pay for your Netflix subscription, but your cousin does or something. I don't know who does that. I don't know. Actually, recently realized that like one of my friends got divorced, and I didn't realize that like they had gotten their own HBO Max subscription, and they forgot that I watched their HBO, so they forgot to give me theirs, and I was still using their ex-husband's HBO for several months. He didn't know. It was very funny. For me. It's a little confusing for him, probably. But yeah, like just because like you don't pay for your own Netflix account, for example, like doesn't mean you can't use it. Obviously you can. Like if you can support, even if it's just like a retweet, telling people to donate, telling people to watch the show, telling people like to boost the Ko-fi for the show if that's where they're crowdfunding, like anything you can do to support, you should, because this is how much work is being put into these things that you love. And this is how much it costs to make it this good. It costs, ideally, in order for me to make the show, I need to get paid almost $2,000. Because I'm creating a show. It's a fucking 4-episode long show. People can watch it as many times as they want. They technically can watch it for free. Actually, you can. You can watch this shit for free. Somebody has to pay me. It doesn't have to be you. Somebody has to pay me. And the reason somebody has to pay me to make this, and the reason that I can't afford to make this scope of work, because it is a lot, the reason that and I know I've already done some stuff from it, but that's because I need to have something done if I'm going to pitch this to people. I'm going to show them things, and I need to be able to show them assets. I need to be able to show them things that I've already done, ideas, etc., because I need them to know that they are putting their money in somewhere that it is valuable. Hi, welcome. So that's why I've already had to sink some cost into this. But the reason I can't afford to sink full cost into this and just hope and pray that somebody is nice enough to just know magically that I need this much money to pay my cast and to pay myself. I don't have 26 free hours that I can afford to give away for free. I am barely scraping by currently. I am waiting on several gigs to finally pay out so that I can make rent without shitting myself. Like I am an entertainer full time. I am disabled. In case you didn't fucking know, this is a fucking wheelchair. I am a creative professionally. I am very lucky that I get to do that. But I would also like to point out that like I don't know how much luck goes into it when like your grocery budget is low and occasionally scares your friends. So it's a complicated topic for another time. But this is how much money it takes to make the things that you love. And exploitation is a really, really big deal. It's a really big deal. It happens all the time. I have been on many a show, and I posted this on Twitter as well, where I have legitimately had, let me pull up the GIF. I'm sorry. Let me show you. I'm going to show you the GIF, and then I'm going to show you what I went through. And I'm going to need you to, corporate needs you to tell the difference between the picture, okay? This fucking moment right here, huh? The text says, wait, you guys are getting paid? I was on the phone. I said GIF, and you can all suck my dick. It's called GIF. The creator says GIF. Do not bring that slanderous discourse. I can't believe that Twitter just said you're not allowed to say lube. Carl, do not come for me. If I'm allowed to say GIF, I will take a nap later. See, the key is to hold your friends emotionally hostage because they want you to nap and they want you to rest, and it's a great way to get what you want. Anyway, the image that moves of this boy from, what is it, We're the Millers? That's a great movie. It's very funny. Says, you guys are getting paid? I was on the phone one day with a co-star of mine for a show I am no longer on. And we were talking, and I said, I mean, yeah, I know that I'm newer in the space, but I've already grown really fast. And I'm really excited to, like, at some point get paid. The person on the phone misunderstood, and they thought that I was excited to get paid. And they said, yeah, I know. I mean, I know that, like, X name, Y name on this show are really big names. So I get that their rates are really high, but I'm happy that I still get paid $35 an hour or $35 per episode. And I said, you're getting fucking paid? I was not getting paid. And I was doing a lot of fucking work on that show. I was doing a lot of work on several shows, actually, where I found out that actually the whole cast is getting paid. But because I was new, I didn't get paid. I asked about pay, and I got told some bullshit about we'll see how well the Patreon does. Which, by the way, a lot of shows end up doing extra content where you stay after the show, like on Gunbook Unhallowed. We get paid also through donations and through the Patreon. So that means that after every show, we do about an hour of extra filming where we talk about the show and we create extra things. The show that I was on that wasn't paying me did this also for an hour or over. And I worked a lot of creative production on those shows, uncredited and unpaid. Yeah, happens a lot in the industry, especially if you're new, because people go, oh, well, you don't know any better, or oh, you're new, you don't have the social capital. And then when you do gain the social capital, which is like bringing viewers, etc., I'm not dropping names, I am not that messy. I don't do public shit like that. But I will privately. No, but like maybe I don't do that to everybody either, because you don't want and you don't want people to run their mouths. But I did so much work on those shows and I did not get paid. And when I tried to leave, it was usually very frosty at best. Or I found out I was on a show. Very similar, where the person who was doing the show bragged to me about paying out of pocket triple digits. That's hundreds, plural, per episode for cast member A, and triple digits even more for cast member B. And the Patreon had patrons. It had money. It had money just like the other show had money from the Patreon. I never saw a cent of that. I did not get paid from that. I didn't even get to negotiate getting paid for that. Exploitation is a huge, huge issue. And this is that stuff's more heinous, you know? That's the more straight up cartoon villain exploitation. The other level of exploitation that comes out in this space of TTRPG production is straight up entitlement. And this is where I'm going to say something that upsets people sometimes, but it's important because I'm right and I should say it. You're not entitled to creating an AP. You can make whatever you want on your own time by yourself. 100%. How you spend your time is your choice. I have nothing but respect for your choice to do with your time how you see fit. You are not entitled to free labor from other people. You are not entitled to get upset if you ask me to be on a show, which has happened. If you ask me to be on a show unpaid, and it's, you know, maybe it's not personal, maybe I'm just busy that day, maybe I don't know the cast enough to feel comfortable with the sunk cost of like my labor in this particular like instance, and maybe I'm just fucking broke as hell and I can't take unpaid labor right now. But then maybe you see me take unpaid labor for something else. Yeah, maybe that's my friend. Maybe that sunk cost is lower because I know their budgeting plan, because I know their crowdfunding, because I have weighed the amount of labor I would put in versus the potential like lowest income, and it has made sense to me. It doesn't have to make sense to you. I don't have to explain it to you. You do, however, have to respect if somebody can only take paid work, or if they do not have time, or they do not have the scope, or they simply say no. You are not entitled to your dream cast. You are not entitled to your dream assets if you cannot make them yourself. If you can't make assets, that's okay. I'm actually really grateful a lot of people can't make assets because it helps me get paid because I can make assets and I do commissions for assets, for streaming assets for Twitch. I will make you a whole streaming kit. I will happily take all of these commissions, but if you can't afford to pay for assets, you do not get to have assets that you didn't make. You wouldn't walk into Walmart broke as all hell and be like, I want that couch. First of all, who the fuck are you even talking to? If you manage to finagle a worker there and say, I want that couch, and they go, okay, it is, checks price $200. And you go, I don't have $200. They'll be like, bummer, dude. You do not get to just take the couch home. You do not get to leave a 10 on the floor and carry it out of the store. You don't get to do that. It's illegal. Frankly, fucking haggling with me in my fucking inbox when I'm broke as hell should be illegal also. But I digress. You're not entitled to creating these giant productions. It's great if you have dreams and ideas, and you should continue to have them, and you should continue to build them out as much as you are personally capable so that you can pitch them, so that you can crowdfund them. It is a very funny thought. You do have to sometimes put the stuff in and leave an IOU. Yeah, I wish I could go to Walmart and leave an IOU. But I'm pretty sure I would go straight to jail. If I wouldn't even make it out the door, let's be real. I'm brown. I got followed in to begin with. But let's say like you have these great ideas. I think that's great. And I think more people should foster their ideas and more people should crowdfund. And if you can ask you just these people, if you manage to get lucky and you shoot your shot, which absolutely shoot your shot without entitlement, but shoot your shot, and you get a cast that you love and everybody thinks your idea is really, really great and they want to do the project, even if you potentially can't pay them, and you are transparent with them upfront about what the budget situation is. This is how much you would ideally like to pay them. This is how much minimum you would like to pay them. This is how you're going to guarantee them that minimum. If you cannot guarantee them that minimum, say this is what you're aiming for, but what you're going to do is you're going to crowdfund here. You will be completely transparent with it and you will split it equally amongst everybody. And then they say yes. And congratulations, you are producing an AP. I am very excited to see it. Please make sure to show me it. I would love to support it, love to support other indie projects like my own. That's okay. But what you're not entitled to do is demand work from people, guilt people into trying to work for you, go behind people's backs and let other people negotiate pay, whereas you don't allow other people to negotiate pay. Pay people discriminately, which is to say, like, yeah, I get it. Maybe this person is mega famous and you want them in 2 episodes and their rate is $500 an episode. That's okay. But you do need to tell the cast. You need to be transparent with people's salaries, wages, rates, etc. It is truly only fair. Yeah, picks up couch. I'm gonna get y'all next week. I wish. You need to be transparent with your financial situation. And you cannot, if you are paying anybody $300 for an episode, you cannot have unpaid members of cast. No. And if you can't afford it, like if those $30, it's $30 or something of like this, of paying this person who maybe has no social capital for their time for 3 hours, they're paying them $10 an hour. Let's say you're paying somebody $300 an hour, somebody else's rate is $50 an hour. You're paying all of them, and then you have one unpaid person who maybe didn't know better. Maybe they didn't know to ask. Maybe they didn't know other people were getting paid. It is your job as the creator, as the producer, as the head of this production, to talk to them about it if they do not know better. It is not, ooh, well, they don't know better, I'm gonna just take advantage. That's called exploiting someone. That's bad. Don't do it. Happens a lot. Don't be a dick. You cannot have somebody like that on your cast. You cannot have somebody unpaid on your cast if you are paying other people, especially not if you are paying other people double and triple digits. And if the triple digits don't have a 1 at the beginning, you cannot afford to do that. And if you say like, yeah, well, I mean, it's my own money. Yeah, okay. Then you're still exploiting them. If you're paying somebody $200 and you're paying somebody else $500 and you're paying somebody else on cast $30 because that's their rate and that's what they're comfortable with and they're okay with that, and you've told them like that is about as much as you feel comfy paying them, and they say okay, that's okay because you've done your budget. But if you say like, oh, but this one person, like, I just don't want to pay them, I didn't pay them in the beginning, I don't want to pay them now, I can't really afford it. If you can't afford it, newsflash again, then you can't afford to produce an AP. If I go to Walmart and I buy 8 apples, I don't know, they cost, I don't fucking, I'm disabled. I buy these. I don't have fruit a lot. If you can't afford people, you can't afford to run a business. And an AP is a business project. It's a project. If you cannot afford to pay everyone, then you cannot afford to do the thing. Period. Period. You cannot afford to do it, and you are not entitled to doing it if you cannot afford to do it without exploiting people. Period. Done. And if there's nothing to add to that. Respect and transparency are absolutely key. If you cannot pay or pay up front, just be transparent with your team and let them make the informed decision, and then you guys will go from there. Maybe some of them stick around, maybe they cannot stick around. Maybe you start over again. That's how it goes. That's entertainment. That is why some shows take 8 years to produce. It's because you go through the cycle of finding funding, gaining funding, losing funding, changing cast, changing funding, changing cast, changing funding. It is a normal fucking cycle. Exactly. If everyone's not getting paid, no one's getting paid. And if you are paying yourself, but there is a member on your team that is unpaid or underpaid, you are exploiting them. You are profiting off of them and you are exploiting them. That is what that is. There is no way around it. There's no nice way to make it sound better. That's not it. You have to respect if someone can only take paid gigs or are paid at a certain rate. You need to be transparent. You need to be respectful. That is really the A and O of all of these things. That is the A and O of this 1 hour long TED Talk where I have now successfully broken. Does anybody have any questions, by the way? Because if you have questions, now is a good time to ask them. But you can also, of course, always hit the Twitter. Let me check Twitter real quick because I'm sure people have been reacting. Yep, over 20 notifications. Sick. Okay, 1 second. It's going to take me a few years to go through these. All right, let's see. I'm not wearing my glasses. Let's remind ourselves again not to assume people. Oh, thank you, Adelaide. Of course, we already have a hater. And you know what? I'm not going to name anyone because I do not give people attention. But we're going to talk about the fucking point. Also, don't misgender me. I'm not a lady. Not you guys. You guys are great. Okay, question. We're going to do this first because I love you, Aki. Question, and I want your honest opinion. How do you feel about shows that are openly transparent about being unpaid, but all donations go to production and not cast? I feel icky about it. I'm not going to lie. It's weird. You and I have been in productions like that. It's weird because it goes back to if not everyone's getting paid, nobody should be getting paid. Period. I have done shows like that, frankly, because honestly, I didn't get it at first. I can be a little stupid occasionally. It happens. We're all human. I was on my phone. There's a fucking hater. Suck my dick. How about that? Sorry, we'll get to that in a second. I would get heated very easily when people hit the right note. I don't like that. I think it's exploitation. I think it's poor business practice. And I think that those companies should have pressure put on them to not do that shit. Because cast does all the heavy lifting publicly. Without cast, there is no show. You can have the prettiest assets in the world. If they're not being used by your characters, by your people, by the creator, by the storyteller, by the GM, whose story informs all of these assets and the production value, then the fuck are you doing? The fuck. Also, the thing is, they may be transparent with you, the cast, but what you and I both know is that the viewers do not know that. Because at the beginning or end of the episode, nobody says donations go to production only. Nobody would say that because, oh, I wonder, they wouldn't get any donations if people knew we didn't get that money, especially because the production I'm thinking of with you and I, they tipped for our characters. They tipped for them to get benefits. So in their minds, logically, they think they're tipping us, or at least into a pool for us, which is a level of fraud, frankly. It's fraud. It's fraud and it's exploitation. I've got to hit you up later about producing something also with Connie actually, but I'm just right now. That's okay. I understand that. My spoons come and go. My spoons were lower, but the fucking some white asshole has pissed me off, and I have spoons for days now. I've got spoons, I got sporks, and I got knives. So let's see. Person I won't name because fuck them. I'm gonna block them after this. This thread, as a fairly new fan of TTRPGs, makes me sad and curious at the same time. Are most live stream TTRPGs with paid actors? Are many in it just for the money and a business, as this young lady seems to be? I'm not a fucking woman. Who are some groups that don't do this and are genuine? Did you just find out that TV isn't real? Oh. Does he think Critical Role does this for shits and giggles? Baby. That's so sad. Boo-hoo. I love this job. I want to not be homeless. I'm so sorry to everyone. I should publicly apologize. I should 100% apologize. I am so sorry that I don't want to be homeless. I've been homeless relatively recently. Actually, it was only been a few years. And every month currently for the last 2 years, I've been about $2 away from being homeless again. Because I do this, because I love it, and also because I'm disabled and I can't exactly just pop into Starbucks and say, hey, can I work here? Because I can't reach the fucking bar. So I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I want to get paid. I'm so sorry that my time is valuable. And I'm so sorry that not wanting to be homeless makes me disingenuine and a cold business bitch. I'm so sorry. Get fucked. That's insane! What an insane thing to say to somebody who gave this TED Talk. It is a white cis het man, by the way. Oh no, he's a dad. Rest in peace, those kids' psyches. A big thank you to Adelaide Gardner, though, for popping in for me. I'm not going to respond to this. That's okay. The full vent will be on the VOD. A little perk there. Thank you, Adelaide, for reminding these people that I am not a lady. Which, by the way, lady is at this point damn near derogatory almost always. Very rarely will somebody say that shit nicely. And two, as Adelaide says, there's no such thing as I can't enjoy the work that I put into a stream TTRPG show and get paid for my time and effort. Why is that sad? Thank you, Adelaide. I will leave Adelaide to deal with this troll. I don't deal with trolls. I don't do that shit at all. I do not fucks with that shit at all. I do not give people this platform. I don't respond to people with ads, and I do not do takedowns of people with their faces and names. Not because I want to protect them. I don't. But because it is unnecessary platform to them, and I do not want to give them a platform. What I will do, and this is a thing very important to remember, in public, someone's bigoted in public, it's fair fucking game. It's very different. It's a different situation. I won't get into that right now. Something else somebody said, I love this breakdown because though I'm a long way off, when I started aggressively promoting Neo Neuro, which is very cool, I intend to fairly pay all of the people who helped make it happen. So this gives me a good idea of what I should start saving for. Thank you. I do really, really hope, that this kind of thing helps, like, show people how to budget, because when you're pitching to a company to get a budget, it's great to have an idea and it's great to have the pretty assets, but what they need to help you is an exact list of what you are looking for in a collab. I will be doing a separate TED Talk on how to pitch backers and how to pitch shows, because it is something that I think a lot of people don't know how to do, and I don't want not knowing how to do it to be the reason that amazing shows don't get to, like, exist. So I'm very, very glad that this is helping people figure out what to create. Great thread looking at what goes into a live stream TTRPG AP. For my charity streams, I don't have to do half the things Brandy mentioned here, as I use the same overlays and pre-written modules. Despite that, I still got burnt out after 10 months. That is very valid. Also, that is from you, Scry, so thank you. Nick, that's it. That's pretty much it. And I do a lot of charity streams as well, so it's not like every stream I'm in is paid. They're not at all. But what I would like to mention because a lot of people seem to have fucking forgotten that, is that if you look at all of my cast credits, which have been what was it, almost 30 in the last 8 months of like roles that I have had that are already out and credited, 50% of those at least are charity streams, for which of course I did not get paid, and I did not expect to get paid, and I knew I was not going to get paid because they're charity streams. It's for fucking charity. It's different. It's different from like an AP. Thank you. Hi, Christian. Yeah, it's not easy, and I very much appreciate the support there. I'm glad people find this informative. So far we've been very lucky on the troll front. Apart from that, I think great perspective. Thank you for sharing. It's awesome to watch growth happen in productions, especially when the audience realizes the quality they're getting and decides to contribute further. Follow-up question: is this a chew game like the comic series? Yes, yes, it is. It is. It is. The game. I'm actually one of the official writers for an adventure for the actual official TTRPG of Chew, which had its successful Kickstarter last year. And I'm actually in another tab that I won't show you guys because I can't. In another tab here, I have the final edits open for my like large like adventure that I have written for Chew, the TTRPG, which is based off of the comic series. So let me pop off a quiz. Yes, it is. It got turned into a TTRPG. Thank you very much, Candace. Also, your makeup looks fucking gorgeous. You look really fucking cute. I'm gonna follow you right now. Um, Jesus Christ. Okay, let's see. All right, I think everybody else has been pretty well behaved. Does anybody have more cues or more things that they would like me to elaborate on? I wish you could edit tweets. I see that here and I want to fix it so bad. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, there's good reason why you can't edit tweets because you know, God knows people would go fucking buck motherfucking wild. Um, I can't believe somebody just hit me with "Hey mamas." Sorry, my I try not to ever open my inbox because it's a fucking wild fucking west. But I just okay, I haven't gotten hit with a "Hey mamas" in fucking months. Okay. Every time somebody says "Hey mamas," I hear the fucking like Gina, what's her fucking name? Gina, what's her face? Being like, "Hey mama, let's research." Okay, I think this has covered a lot of it. Also, I didn't mean to, but I am wearing my Mo Money Mo Problem shirt, and that feels very accurate. Don't ask me if I'm Biggie or Tupac. I really do like both of them. I don't know enough to do more. As a GM, if you end up needing to prep for more than an hour, how do you go into that combo? That's a really good one because I legitimately had that conversation this morning. I had that with a GM that I hired for the show that I'm producing for Roll. The amazing Lexi. It was a very easy conversation, luckily, because Lexi is one of my best friends, and so I got to have that conversation easily. But as the GM on the other side, one thing that I do is I tend to like stopwatch time when I'm writing. If I'm getting paid and I need to know the per hour. If something like needs more time, it depends on how much, because part of being a jam and getting the allotted budget of time that you need is aspiring to be within that budget. Ideally, what you should do, what I would do as the GM, is if I can tell I am approaching the limit of how much time I need to get to the point that I need to get at of preparedness, before I hit the point, I stop where I've gotten to, and I look at how much further do I have to go, and is it possible for me, like, where if I finish in the allotted time, how far will I get? How far can I get if I am trying to fit into time, and how much more time will I need if I want to get to the point that we wanted? So if we want to go from A to Z and I have like X hours to do so, this is going to be a little bit of an equation. How far in the alphabet can I get in X hours? That's the first data point that you need to have. How many more hours is it going to take for me to get to Z? Because originally when they hired me, they wanted me to get to Z. Have those two data points and be like, hi to your point person. Hello. I am reaching X hours and I am at like W. I think I might have started a little too far. Let's say we're at O. I'm reaching X amount of hours and I've reached plot point O. I know we want to get to Z. I want to get to Z also. I think in X hours, I can get to W. We can move some stuff around maybe and find a way for you to be satisfied with W if the budget is really strict. And just to let you know, like, this is where I think it's going to realistically get to. If you want me to get to Z, I'm going to need 2 more hours. Like, I'm going to need this many, like, this hours specifically. I can, like, that is how I would go into that conversation, just being like, you could choose. These are your options. This is what the situation is. Let's discuss from there and find a spot where we're happy, because maybe they don't pick from the 2 options and they go, okay, I can allot you 1 more hour. You think you can get to W in 1 more hour, like with 1 extra hour? Do you think maybe you could get to Y with an extra hour on top of the amount that we had initially allotted? And usually that's going to be how it goes back and forth. The thing that a lot of people forget is that the standard is supposed to be communicating with respect. And that if somebody communicates with you disrespectfully, you do not, like, it is not a failing of yours if somebody chooses to do that. If somebody didn't consider that maybe they might have to have a contingency plan or they might have to be flexible on something, that is not your fault. You are doing your job. So if you bring them those 2 data points of like, this is how far I can get in the time that you wanted, and this is how much time I'm going to need if you want me to get to this thing that you wanted, let's figure out either a compromise in the middle, or you tell me like what the sitch is. That is how I would go into that conversation. And typically, most conversations, luckily, are good faith conversations. People will be like, okay, I hear you, and thank you for like giving, because like if you just text somebody and say, yeah, I don't think I can do it, that's a panic-inducing sentence as a producer. I don't want to hear that, because that means that I have to do more work, because now I have to text you and be like, what does that mean? How much have you done? How much more time would you need? And I have to now be Sherlock fucking Holmes and drag everything out of like a GM's teeth, versus like, it'd be great. No worries. I'm glad. And I will see you very, very soon, I'm sure. Thank you. Aki, love you. So what you want to do is like, you have these data points. You want to go to them and be like, this is where we're at. This is where I can get. This is where I can get with more time. How much, like, where is the wiggle room? And like I said, people are usually good faith. They want a good product. They will figure out a way to like give you an hour extra or more. Or like if you, for example, if you went half an hour over, and you didn't notice, that happens. You know, you're already put over. If you can't do it beforehand, be like, either you with yourself decide like, is a fucking half hour worth it? Like, if you're getting paid $7 an hour for some shit, do you really want four fucking bucks extra? Like, do you want to fucking do that? That's up to you. I mean, you're entitled to it. You could, or you just go like, hey, I did half an hour extra, or hey, I did like an extra hour because I needed to. How would we like to go about compensation, and for future reference? Like, ideally, this is a conversation you have before it happens. Ideally, this is a conversation you have before you sign, is to be like, okay, I think I can get X amount of work done in this time. I should be able to. If for some reason I need an extra hour or 2, how would you like me to go about billing that? And what is the procedure there? And if it hasn't happened to them before, they'll be like, oh, that hasn't happened before. That's a good question. They will come up with something and they will give it to you. They will give you a procedure, if they know, if they're, you know, legit and they're doing the right thing. Or they will just straight up be like, oh, okay, if it goes over, we'll just do the same rate, and like we will go from there. And like, you just tell me that you needed an extra hour and I will do that. And then they can budget accordingly. So ideally, this is something that you do as early into the process as possible. Just because it's good, just smart. Like, it's smart to cover your bases. If you didn't cover your bases beforehand, but you are coming up into the thing where this is maybe a situation, you would want to stop and have that conversation before you've done unpaid labor. We'd like to avoid doing unpaid labor. That is a good like principle. Want to avoid doing labor that we might not be compensated for. But yeah, that is definitely the conversation to have. Christ all fucking mighty. I'm gonna have to mute my phone again. Let's see if anybody has any questions. Okay, asking in good faith. Asking in good faith, where does this funding come from? TV shows are sold to get viewers to sell ads to them or subscription fees like Netflix, or is there expectation of crowdsourced fundings for these types of projects? I'm happy to say good faith. Yes, solution-based communication backed by transparency. Yes, absolutely. Where does the funding come from? I guess I have mentioned it a few times, but just to say specifically, it depends. I will type this answer out as well, because obviously they asked me that on Twitter. But basically, it is in crowdfunding preemptively, like Kickstartering, for example. Crowdfunding on Ko-fi is very popular for TTRPGs. Crowdfunding on Patreon, setting goals, getting tipped via your social medias, getting tipped on Cash App, etc. However you'd like to, crowdfunding is typically a way to go if you are indie. What happens is a lot of times with things that need this kind of budget, if you're not crowdfunding, is you'll do what I'm doing, which is you'd write up an outline of the show. You'd create a pitch, ideally with some assets already there so they can really see what they're getting, ideally with a preliminary cast list. Do not contact the fucking people you're casting yet. Just say this is your current ideal, so you'll have to do a little bit of the casting like recon work, based on like what you think you can feasibly pull off, just to give them an idea. And then you go to a company like Roll20. You go to a company like Roll. You go to the people that run Chew. You go to anyone that could feasibly benefit from the publicity of your AP, and you fucking shoot your shot. And maybe they will pick it up. I have on the 25th, May 25th, so less than 10 days, my talk show on Twitch is coming out that I created for and through Roll. I created it. I had just talked to Roll. I was about to pitch them some other stuff, and I was like, actually, I created this talk show. Can I pitch this to you instead? And they said, yeah, let's talk about it. Because I think, so when I made it, I was like, I actually think this would be right up your alley, and I think this would be a great way to show the integration of your interface. And I think this could actually genuinely benefit you. So I wrote out an outline of the show. I made it nice and pretty. I made sure to have some projected ad possibilities, some projected streams of like revenue off of it for them and myself. And I listed exactly what I would need from them, money. And like we worked together to project exactly how much money and what rates we would get so that I can pay my guests, etc. And then they presented that to their backers, and their backers said, fuck yeah, which, like, love you, thank you. And that is how I pitched that show. Obviously, I will do another TED Talk where I go into, like, much more detail for that. But money for this comes from backers. There are also shows that get funded by Die Hard Dice. Now, this is also, like, this is a bigger production show. This is not, I made one frame and I have no assets whatsoever apart from this, and I'm not paying people like a lot. This is still like this outline here is for a relatively mid to high production level AP. Obviously, they do not all have to be like that. Some of the ones that I fucking created in my like that I've like created are not like that. So it depends on how much you want. But if you are not crowdfunding, you are pitching sponsors. Die Hard Dice sponsors a lot of APs. Fuck ton of them, actually. And occasionally a sponsorship just gives you free dice, but like frankly, a lot of us spend money on dice. I don't, but like that's because I'm broke. But like, you know, stuff is nice also. Stuff is cool. Die Hard Dice, I think, also pays money, but again, a lot of the shows that I've been on that were backed by Die Hard Dice, I didn't see a cent. But technically, dice companies. Dice companies are great. Never Ending or Roll app or Roll20 will sometimes back APs. Usually Roll20 produces its own APs, but like that's also an AP production. And they also have to have people that produce the APs. So it's not, you know, completely out of the realm of existence that they would do that. Companies that work in the TTRPG space in general, dice companies, anybody that benefits from advertising to your viewer base, people that are kickstarting, for example, like Queers is like game companies like Son of Oak, or game companies like the one that produced Chew as a TTRPG. They benefit greatly from APs playing their fucking game, and since this is set in Chew, technically I could pitch this to them also, and if they had money, they could help Also, you can have more than one sponsor. You do not have to get all this money from one place. You can still crowdfund even if you have a sponsor. More money is never a bad thing. No worries. You go do day job things, be good, make money, make choices. But yeah, it's basically it can come from a number of different avenues. There is a very heavy like onus on crowdfunding in the indie scene, but there are companies that want to sponsor APs. There's a lot of APs that don't get made because people do not realize that they can pitch people. And also, what I should say again though here, because people pitch me too, which like I do not know how lost you can get to pitch me to get money from me, but you're barking up the wrong tree. Um, you should not cold pitch people. That's fucking rude. Everyone who cold pitches me gets blocked immediately. Usually, actually, I screenshot it to show to my friends so that I can complain about it, and then I block you because it's rude as hell. And and if people cold pitch you, it is never kindly. It's never, "Hey, can I have a moment of your time? Hey, can I ask you about something? Hey, I think I have something you might like." It's a link with no context in my DMs that I'm not gonna click. I'm not fucking stupid. And then I ask, "What is this?" And I get the rudest fucking responses back. Yesterday alone, I got some bull fucking shit. And Liv was like, "Honest to God, the people that pitch you, that like cold pitch you, are the most annoying motherfuckers on the planet." And I was like, "Yes, absolutely." Because decorum and etiquette is still a thing. You can still be polite, but like you can always ask. You can always ask. You can always find somebody and be like, "Hi, I would like to pitch something to you. Do you have somebody who's in charge of that? Do you have a time frame or a way that you would prefer to receive this pitch?" For those who don't know, what is a cold pitch? Yes. Thank you very much. Cold pitch is basically like my portmanteau of pitch and cold calling. It means that you slid into my DMs. Let me give you an example. I got a DM. I got a DM from someone I don't follow who does not follow me, who does not follow or is followed by anybody that I know. Someone who has no connection to me whatsoever. But I have a 2 podcast network. That is what I usually get pitches for. They're all stupid. Look at the cold pitches. So basically, this person went into my DMs and dropped the link to their podcast. It's also important to know your audience. I am your audience. I am a brown, trans, queer person who is chronically ill and disabled. I am also someone who runs an entirely marginalized podcast network and only casts people of color in 90% of my shows and only casts marginalized creators in all of my shows. I don't work with cishet white men because they have enough things. They don't need my thing. You do not need to be on my show. It doesn't really work with the mission of my show, which is to highlight marginalized creators. So know your audience. So this was a cishet white dude. Usually it's them because frankly nobody else has that much audacity. And he dropped his podcast with no text, just the link to his shitty little podcast in my DMs. And I texted back, "Excuse me, what is this?" Oh, I'm sorry. He didn't put no text. That's right. He dropped the link to his podcast. This is why it pissed me off so much. And said, "You're welcome." And nothing else. And I took a deep breath and I said, "Excuse me, what?" And he texted, "I just sent you my podcast. You have been blessed. You're welcome." It is fucking maidenless fucking behavior. It is. You are right. They said, yeah, they said, "I've sent you my podcast. You've been blessed. You're welcome." I don't know if he wanted to add it to my network. I don't know if he just wanted to get a listener. I don't know if he wanted me to promo him, but what he got was blocked. That shit happens to me a lot. People will also enter my DMs who have never spoken to me before, often people who don't follow me, by the way, who will say, like, "Oh, I have an idea for an AP," and then send me a wall of text. It's always white people that do this, by the way. It's not my fault. I'm just telling you the facts. It is always white people that do that shit to me. I don't know what to tell you. I wouldn't be calling it out if it weren't happening. Okay, don't get mad at me. So this wall of text that I'm not going to read. I don't have time. I don't have time to read through everything, every unsolicited thing that comes across my desk. Also, frankly, because most of them are not doing anything new. Because a lot of people do not ask themselves the question, why am I making this? What is the point of this? What am I doing here? What story am I telling? People just go, I want to be famous. I want to make an AP, which like making an AP is not how you become famous. I am very sure. Because frankly, it has not worked. So like, I'm gonna go with if it does, I'm doing something wrong. But like people will straight up just be like, I have an idea for something. It is the most batshit bullshit crap I've ever heard in my life. It is usually very just boring. It's been done a million times. It's like me and my friends are really funny and we just like playing D&D together. Okay, why do you need me? You just want me to boost it, which I didn't need to read a wall of text to tell you I'm not going to fucking do that because I don't know you and you haven't done anything. And I'm not going to hold your hand unpaid while I'm broke and busting my ass to do so. If people come into my DMs, and maybe we've even talked, but even if we haven't talked, if you come into my DMs and you say, hi, excuse me, if you have a moment, I have an idea I'd like to run by you. And maybe if you're vague, I'll probably ask you what kind of idea it is. And if you say, like, I have an AP idea that I don't know how to get off the ground, or I see you talk about this and this job and I want to know more about it, I will happily do that shit for free. I do it all the time. I will happily take time that I will plan for to look at the thing that you are sending me if you ask me first. That is typically enough for me to be like, yeah, I will do a quick vibe check. If you seem okay, I will look at your thing and I will answer some basic questions. Or if I know you, if you're a fucking supporter of mine, if you're a follower and you engage with me and I know you and you have questions, I will fucking add you on Discord and I will set an hour aside sometime this week and I will answer every motherfucking question in your brain because I appreciate you and you were polite and you were kind and you respected my time. I will happily do that shit. Always. Unless I really don't have time or I do not have like but if I do not have time, I will be like I would love to have this conversation with you. Give me 2 weeks and I will contact you again. If I don't contact you again, please remind me. I'm very busy. Let's do that. But I will always communicate. But if you cold pitch me, which is just drop shit in my fucking inbox with no fucking etiquette whatsoever and no asking, no nothing, as Christian said, unsubscribe, block, yeet into the sun. Fuck that shit. It's horrible. It's stupid. That happens to me all the time, and it is ridiculous. How the balls people have really is what's wildest. So yeah, definitely don't do that, and don't do that to other people. Like, do not hit Roll20's DMs with a wall of text of like your idea for an AP. What you could do if you have no other way to contact anybody at Roll20, is you can go to Roll20's DMs, and I'm so sorry, Roll20, if this happens to you now, but like I'm just sharing how I would do it, which is like if I know people at Roll20, so I can at least probably find the right person through asking, but like what I would do is inquire if they even accept pitches. Hi, my name is so and so. I was wondering if you accept pitches for APs or if you sponsor APs. And if you do, what is the process of pitching for you? Is there an email that you would like me to send more information to? Do you have a contact person? Do you have a contact form? What is the best way to reach you or reach the person that needs to get this information to make this thing happen? That is how you ask to pitch. You ask. And the thing is, with this, you can't go wrong. Because sometimes what'll happen a lot of times is that they won't see it. People will not see it. People will not respond. That's okay. Whatever. No loss. Some people will say, we're not accepting pitches right now. Some people will say, we don't accept pitches from other people. Or some people will say, like, go to this contact form. You go to the contact form. God knows what happens there, but like, you'll try. And then some people will be like, oh yeah, we do accept pitches. Thank you for asking. This is the part of our website. This is the contact person. This is the email to send them to. Please send us this information. Do not hit me with the but Brandy said. Please, please. I'm sorry, Roll20. I'm just trying to help people. But like what you would do is like you might get somebody saying like, yeah, this is the email, and then we need this much information from you. And then you come to my TED Talk and I show you the information you need to pitch people. This is not all of it. This is just finances, but like I will also be doing a video slash also like a stream where I show you guys like how to pitch people, because it is something that like there are a lot of little things you can do that end up like keeping you from getting the money or the funding or the support that you need. And it's not because you did something wrong. It's usually because you didn't do something that you should have done or needed to do. Like you didn't have information that they needed. And like sometimes they do not have the time or energy to fucking run after you and ask for it. Do not, ideally, don't make people play Sherlock Holmes. People don't like being Sherlock Holmes. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle didn't like Sherlock Holmes. Okay, so your random average person isn't gonna like being Sherlock Holmes. I do not want to have to dig through your fucking 80-page document, which it shouldn't be that long. I don't want to have to dig through this shit to find your numbers. I don't want to have to dig through this to see exactly what services you need from me. Because it could also be that you approach somebody and say, I would like the publicity of a sponsorship. Maybe I don't need money. Can't imagine, but you know. Maybe you approach Die Hard Dice and say, I would like to collab with you on this, and the sponsorship would just put more eyes on your project, and that's all you need. Probably going to be more than happy to do so. I don't know if Die Hard Dice would, but I know a lot of companies would be like, yeah, okay, well let's work something out. And they'll look at your thing, they'll see whether or not it's publicity that they want associated with them, and they'll go from there. Or like if you need a graphics team, you'll be like, hi, I either need money to hire somebody to help me do graphics, or do you guys have somebody that do graphics? Like for Roll, when I pitched them, I said, so here's what I need. Money, this money. I need this money. I need somebody to do, I could do the graphics, but you guys probably have a graphics team that's better than mine. So ideally, if that's what you guys want also, I would like to use them. And then one thing that was very important to me is like, I don't fucking edit videos. I will K my S if I have to edit this motherfucking talk show. That's not what I do. I only ever tech produce out of necessity, and that is for audio only. I do not tech produce video. That shit makes me foam at the mouth. I am very bad at it, and I don't like it. So I don't want to do it. And I was like, I need an editor. That is the number one thing. If nothing else, I need you to pay me, and I need to pay an editor. Ooh, seatbelt safety. Oh boy. Well, you know, fucking be safe. The emotional whiplash. Yeah, that makes sense. My bad. Sorry for the ads that you guys get. They're kind of wild. Everybody gets the weirdest fucking ads on my page. I'm so sorry. But hey, we're really close to being able to withdraw from Twitch. I think I'm at like $65 lifetime made on Twitch, and you have to make 100 for it to give you money. So eventually I will have $100. That'll be fucking sick. That would be great. But yes, I'm glad it's been helpful. VOD will be up soon. And I will see you tomorrow night actually for a recording session. So have a good rest of your workday. Let me see what else. Yeah, so that's how you pitch people. Like that's how you ask to pitch people. Obviously, I will do a separate thing about pitching people. But I think that definitely heavily answered that person's question of like where money comes from. If only they were watching. I will be sure to let them know that I answered this on stream, but I will also give them an answer like proper on Twitter as well. Because the short version is it is either crowdfunding or you pitch somebody for a sponsorship. Also, like, so what if somebody says no? It's not going to kill your fucking production. You could ask 80 people, and if 8 people say yes, they'd like to support you, you will probably make your financial goals. Ideally, if they all have money, but like some might have money, some might have sponsorships. Now, some of them, here's the thing that might happen: some of them may have exclusivity contracts. In which case, if you do have several different companies, if you are lucky enough to have several companies want to back you, you have to be transparent with them because you do not want to get sued. Like, for example, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but like 2 platforms of the similar service are not going to both want to sponsor your AP. You are not going to get sponsored by Roll and Roll20 at the same time for the same stream. That would be ridiculous. They would probably not do that. I cannot see that happening. Also, I know that, for example, like Roll20 has like a fucking clause in some of the stuff that you work with them on, and I'm pretty sure Roll should also, because that's just a basic legal clause where you don't promote their competitor while you're being funded by them on this project that you're doing with them. you know. Also, because like if you do a screen share for like, for example, if you do something like with Roll, like with my talk show, I screen shared Roll's interface for the talk show to show people how I'm using it and how they can use it. It would be really fucking shitty if I switched in between and showed their competitor. That would be insane. I'd get sued out the ass, and I'd deserve it, frankly. Sorry, there's like, I don't know, dust. I'm having some allergies for the first time in my life, and I gotta tell you, I'm not a fan. I went outside to get my mail, and frankly, it's been a decision that I have regretted. If anybody else has any questions, now would be a good time to ask them because we're hitting like an hour 40 and I'm probably going to wrap this up soon. Let me check if we have any questions here. Oh boy. Everybody remember to be kind and patient and do not give bigots the time of day because frankly, I don't want to see it. Yeah. This. Oh boy. Well, the good thing is I think Bigot has taken his shit down, which is just nice. I am very grateful for you guys, but also you do not have to go that hard defending me. It is okay. I appreciate it, but I would rather not give bigots the platform online. Um, yeah, exactly. Exactly. It would be really, 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 really weird if I just like if I breached contract like that and I just went like, and now how to do it in like my competitor. That'd be fucking insane. That would be wild. But yes, I really hope this has helped you guys. So if anybody has any questions, let me know. I know there's lag, so I'm saying this and I have to wait a second for you guys to get it here. But also, like, maybe I should just take that moment to answer this person's question. I meant to write depth and I wrote death, and I was like, I do not want to tell this person that I went into death. Ugh. All right. I think we are good. I think nobody has any remaining questions. And it's not like I'm disappearing forever. You guys will, you have fucking questions, you can ask me on Twitter as well. Please be polite and patient as well. I don't live on the, I mean, I kind of do, but I do not really live on the internet. I occasionally do other things. And sometimes when I'm working on something, I'm so wired in that I kind of forget the rest of the world exists. So I really hope this has been helpful. I very much appreciate all of you guys for coming and watching and listening and sitting through ads. And Sphinx, again, thank you for gifting those subs. I very much appreciate it. And you. And thank you for everybody's support also on Twitter. I am very grateful that this is a show. Sorry, that this is a thread that people care about and that helps people. I really hope that it helps people going forward to create really amazing things. You guys know that I love doing TTRPG TED Talks and game design TED Talks. And the more I can demystify shit for you guys so you can make cool shit, the better. Because I mean, if I can do nothing else in the world, I would really like to do two things: make cool shit, make it possible for other people to make cool shit. That's kind of it. Because making cool shit helps people. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not. I get squeaky at blood in real life. Like I have emetophobia. I'm physically disabled, so it's not like I'm about to become a fucking firefighter. I'm not about to save fucking lives. Physically, that's not my life. That's not going to be my life. And frankly, that's probably for the best. I'm not exactly the biggest, strongest motherfucker out there, but I can do this. I am really good at this. I am really good at the business end of these things. I'm really good at the mostly at the creative end of these things. And I like making people laugh and I like entertaining people. And if I can make something that becomes a piece of comfort media for someone, or if I can make something that made you laugh, or if I can design a game that gives you great memories with your friends, then, that's how I can help the world, basically. And if I can help you create something that does that for someone else, fucking all the better, really. Big fan of opening doors and then holding them open behind me. So I'm very grateful you guys like these. Also, a way to help support me, apart from like, please hit all those links and support me where and if you can. I'm currently trying to make sure that things pay me on time so that I make rent because I would really like to not be homeless. Um, that shit's pretty fucking terrifying. And frankly, at this point, my car is not reliable, and I think sleeping in it is a really bad idea. But apart from that, something that you can do if you really like these TED Talks is, of course, share my like Twitch link, share the YouTube link, which this will be exported to YouTube imminently, and I'll post that link on my Twitter and on my Instagram. But yes, please make sure to boost these, and if there's cons going on, you can ask them. You can ask them to have me do a panel. You can ask for this in person. I will do it. I just need them. Like, I can pitch cons all day long, but it is also very helpful when viewers are like, hey, we want this hoe. Please do not call me that to the cons. They will be very confused. We want Brandy Rose. We want at the Brandy Rose. We want at the Brandy Rose at this con. We want at the Brandy Rose at this panel. We want at the Brandy Rose on this show. Put my name in good places, and I will be eternally grateful. Thank you also for your support, since some people have put my name in very nice places, and I am now a like award nominated game designer. I woke up to the nomination. I don't think I made it through, but it's very cool to be nominated to begin with. I like to thank the Academy. But like it's very very flattering to be nominated for the what the fuck was it even, for the Diana Jones Award for game design. That's very, very sweet. I very much appreciate it, you guys, and I'm very glad you like my games. A little comment. I think a lot of folks want to pay people but are stuck behind lack of knowledge and fear of asking. Folks. I don't know if it just like hasn't cut or if you're still typing, but yeah, I think that is a very big thing. I think a lot of people are afraid to ask, but like here's the thing: in the end, like sometimes, and this is something my best friend Liv says all the time. Sometimes the answer is stop being a pussy. You have to get over the fear of rejection if you want to ask people for things, and there is no cheat code around that. I used to work in a job where I had to call like 90 some people every day and ask them to do something they didn't want to do, which was pay their bills. And I wasn't a debt collector, but I did work at a gym. And like occasionally people would get past due. And a part of my job, even though I personally didn't give a fuck, was calling them to remind them. And if I didn't do it, I got yelled at and like maybe fired. So like I had to call and be like, hi, I just wanted to let you know your account's past due. You know how many people hung up on me or yelled at me all the time? All the time. Every day, at least 90 some people would fucking cuss me out for saying, hi, I'm sorry, your account's past due. I'm just calling to let you know. I wasn't even calling to collect the debt. I was just like, I have to call and let you know. I had to leave you a message. I'm sorry. And they're like, you call every day. And I'm like, yes, because if I don't, I get fired. I'm really sorry. But again, I like not being homeless and I like eating, most of the time. So sorry. Usually if they were like, if they talked to me, what I would often do, I can't get in trouble for this anymore because I won't say where I worked. And also, I don't work there anymore. Because I am physically disabled. I can't exactly run a gym anymore. But what I would do a lot of times is straight up be like, if you don't tell anyone, I can just like wipe all your late fees, because every fucking month they would get like $30 of late fees, and that's a lot of fucking money, and it's really hard to catch up because they won't let you pay partial some gyms. So I was just like, if you don't say shit, I won't say shit. I will literally, like, if you can pay the balance that you owed, like the original $20 payment that you missed, I will get rid of the like $80 fucking like, and we just won't tell anyone. Which is not illegal, by the way. It's just like you'll get fired if they know that you do that. But like at this point, no means nothing to me. Like in the way of like business, it's just like, okay, I'll ask somebody else. Thank you for your time. And then you continue. It doesn't mean my idea sucks. I am worthless. I am garbage. You have to get over the fear of rejection if you want to do this shit. There is nothing else to say to that except that you look. It won't kill you. and it won't kill your project, and it won't kill your idea, and it won't kill your passion. Like you just got to keep fucking going. And also, like, I am brown, I am physically disabled, I am chronically ill and will be until I die. I am trans, and I am gay. If I listened to how many people told me I'm not worth shit, we wouldn't be here right now. So I can't. There's only so much hand holding I can do before I have to tell you to buck up and just try. But yeah, you gotta try. You gotta get over the fear of being told no. You've got to ask if you can pitch. You've got to ask if you can pitch someone to get a backer. You've got to ask to if people are interested in crowdfunding your shit. And you got to believe in yourself and in your shit. That's really really important. Let me check. Okay, sorry, we got some updates, but I think no more questions on there. We're about to hit 2 hours, so I think we're good on questions. If you guys have any, truly speak now or forever hold you. Well, no, speak now or text me on Twitter. But I think we're good. I think we're all right. I'll give it a minute. I'll check Twitter in the meantime. Yeah, Joe, who I love and adore, at Scary Dog Friend, retweeted little T emoji and some note taking emoji about the one where I was just like, yeah, I've been on streams where like you didn't get paid, and I was like, holy shit, you guys are getting paid. I'm again, I don't do the call out thing, because frankly, it really wouldn't do anything here. The people that need to know. People that were affected directly, no. I tell people things privately, and the production companies that I work with, they know who know, like they know who does what. We talk, and there's no need for like sending mass hate towards like a person or a studio because of this. And I don't want to fucking have to deal with that shit. The people that need to know. Viewers do not need to know, frankly, everything that has ever happened to me. Also, because again, racism and exploitation are quite rampant in the world. So if I legitimately like just like sat down and listed every institution I've worked at that was racist or shitty or exploitative to me, we'd be here in 10 years. Speak now or think of it at 2 a.m. randomly. Yes, basically. But yeah, I think we are all set. If you have more questions, you can ask me on Twitter or Instagram. Twitter is at the Brandy Rose. Instagram is Brandy Rose Official. I actually have like one of those fucking like telonym anonymous things. I post answers to it occasionally on Instagram's like stories. So like if you go there, I'm pretty sure you can get the link to the telonym. I'm pretty sure it's just telonym/cutespatoot or some shit. I don't know, .com/cutespatoot, who knows. But I have a Patreon. That's patreon.com/cutespatoot. I also have a Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/cutespatoot. Which is the sit here. And I also have another Twitter just for the podcast account that is at Patoot Podcasts, which is my podcast network. So make sure you check all those things out. Again, my Cash App is $tip Brandy. Shit's always appreciated, mostly because right now I am running around like a chicken with its head cut off trying to get fucking paid, in order to hopefully barely make rent, frankly, is the best case scenario right now. And get food and then start this whole shit over again another month. But let's also remember that on the 25th, my talk show finally comes out. And if you guys watch that show and you go to roll and you participate in the show and you like buy like, because the show will basically show you how to use roll, the roll app. So that's just it's a link I'll share with you guys when they have actually share to now. Roll app. Okay. Let's hope I'm actually show you something I'm not supposed to. Oh, bitch ass motherfucker, move. Yeah, so it is app.playroll.com. It's pretty fucking dope. There's nothing there that you're not allowed to see, so it's fine. These are just like some of the tables that I've had. There's the like play, there's the create. Basically, this is Playroll. This is the company that has provided me with really most of my money, and therefore kept me nice and alive. Also, one of the amazing people that works at Playroll is a friend of mine, Bevo, who was so kind as to get me a cane recently. So if you see me hobbling about, that is because of Bevo, because I did not have a cane. So if it was wheelchair, it was nothing. So big thank you to the people at Roll for seeing in me talent and potential that you wanted to foster, and for working with me on creating this amazing talk show. So if you guys would like me to stop worrying you with mentioning any financial issues, we can solve that pretty easily. Because if my show gets picked up past the 5 episodes that we've already shot, then I have to shoot a show that I get paid for every month, which would be pretty sick. I mean, it would about cover my rent, and then I would still have to work my ass off to continue eating. But hey, big hurdle is a big hurdle. So on May 25th on this channel, my talk show is coming out. It's called Roll With It. I'm going to be interviewing game designers. And then after a little bit of interview and some chat, we will be hopping on Roll, and I will be giving them a random prompt that they did not hear beforehand. And in less than 15-ish minutes, we will create a game that you can play from scratch. And by the time the episodes come out, all of the episodes were already done. You can play these games. This game, I will not tell you anything else about it, but this game, you'll be able to play it on Roll immediately. Ideally, the goal for the show is it runs weekly. Is that if it runs weekly and if it gets picked up, and even if it just runs for a year, that is 52 new games, new micro TTRPGs that exist because of the show that otherwise wouldn't have existed. And that is just cool. And the goal of the show, apart from that, is to show you guys exactly how step to step to like make a micro RPG, make something just your very first game, baby's first game design. And you can make it on Roll, which is what you should do. So when the show airs, please watch it here on YouTube. It's going to be on Facebook video as well, which scares me because Facebook scares me because I don't use it. But you know what? It's going to be there. And then go to Roll and hit the create button right here, and you'll be able to make, go to sheets, you can go to templates, you can create a template, you can make a game right there. That whole thing, create template, that's a game. That's a game sheet that anybody can be able to use after you create it. So please go, please hopefully take inspiration from the titles that we give you, from the prompts that we have on the episode, and go make, even if it's the world's tiniest, shittiest, shortest little game, it does not matter. Any and all engagement with the show and with Roll as a result of the show will continue to keep me employed and keep the show running, and therefore keep me nice and housed. So that is truly one of the biggest ways you can support me. I will be blasting the show on every fucking platform about every 2 fucking minutes as soon as it airs. May 25th is the current air date. I'm very, very excited. It is just around the corner. And I really hope you guys like the show, and I hope you guys like the episodes, because a lot of people worked really, really hard on it, and I have been working on that show since December. So it has been nearly 6 months of blood, sweat, and tears on my part, and I'm really, really, really excited to share it with you guys because I really believe in it, and I think it's going to be great. So now I have hit almost a 2-hour mark. I'm going to leave you guys now. I'm going to go take a fucking nap because my fucking back hurts. And yeah, and if you have any more questions, make sure to hit me up on Twitter, and make sure to boost this. I will be making it into a highlight immediately now. So the past broadcast won't be available, but I'm going to make it into a VOD right now. So the VOD will be there, and I will export it to YouTube as well. So it should be up shortly. So yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for the support, and I will see you guys for the next TED Talk, which, by the way, if you follow me on Ko-fi, or if you follow me like on Patreon or something, you can help determine what the next TED Talks are, and you can ask me questions straight up that I will make TED Talks for. I'm also losing my voice, so I'm going to go have a snack, have a little water, take a little nap, and then I'm going to keep working. See you guys later. Bye.